Hello, everybody. In Chapter 31, we address an intriguing question. Could Lady Qi, who was turned into a miserable human pig, experience plantar limb pain? This answer is likely yes. But what causes plantar limb pain? We can explore this using G theory. First, the patient has lost part of their limb, which means they have lost the motor and sensory functions of that part. This results in the absence of the instinctive subject related to the movement and sensation of that limb. However, the other instinctive subject in the brain and spinal cord that control the movement and sensation of that limb still exist. When the patient intends to perform an action that involves the missing limb, the corresponding motor instinctive subject in the brain and spinal cord are activated. Unlike in a normal person, this activation can't trigger the motor instinctive subject of the amputated limb through G waves. This is akin to forced reshaping, leading to the permanent abandonment of the motor instinctive subject of the amputated limb. Consequently, the activation of the motor instinctive subject in the brain and spinal cord may form G connections with other nearby activated Gs or strengthen existing connections. This could lead the patient to move other parts of their body when they intend to move the platform limb. Similarly, the loss of the sensory instinctive subject of the amputated limb is like the absence of sensory input G waves. Therefore, the sensation of that part would be a simulated G wave presented by the sensory instinctive subject in the brain and spinal cord. The initial amputation would undoubtedly cause pain, which would be a powerful reshaping of the corresponding sensory experiential G in the brain. This reshaping could affect the specificity and intensity of the simulated G wave of the sensory instinctive subject, resulting in plantar limb pain. Additionally, through daily sensation behavior patterns, we know that the sensory instinctive subject and motor instinctive subject of a limb in the central nervous system have direct or indirect connections. Through anatomical structures, we can roughly understand the functions of the neighboring sensory or motor centers in the brain and spinal cord. Therefore, we can infer the possible range and results of reshaping related to plantar limb pain. For example, could the activation of the motor instinctive subject in the central nervous system slightly activate the motor instinctive subject of other nearby parts? Could it activate certain sensory instinctive subject? Could the motor G wave it emits be converted into sensory G waves through the nerve plexus at or about the amputation site? Could other instinctive subject when activated, reshape the connections between the sensory and motor instinctive subject of the amputated limb in the central nervous system. Furthermore, the example of mirror therapy elevating platinum limb pain suggests that viral input G waves can reduce the degree of platinum limb pain. What is the principle behind this? All these questions require a thorough and deep understanding of the structure, reshaping, energy state, and movement of G waves. If you are interested, you can think about or verify this based on the existing clues. In summary, we can simplify the complex phenomenon. Platinum limb pain is simulated, occurring when the central system activates the corresponding sensory G in the absence of sensory input, G waves from the limb. This is similar to the cause of hallucinations and dreams. As mentioned in the previous chapter, platinum limb pain manifests as pain, likely related to the ex- experiential G formed during the amputation. As this, G is a strong reshaping of the original sensory G of the limb. Now, let's switch to a lighter topic. When a child first discovers that paper money is useful, it is because the G of money and the G of candy in their brain have formed a connection. The candy G naturally includes their experiential subject, which is coupled with a series of instinctive subjects that make them happy. Similarly, as adults, seeing an increase in our salary or a rise in our stock prices makes us happy. This happiness is caused by the activation of a series of recognition genes in our brain, which ultimately activates the instinctive subject that makes us happy. Visual input is powerful. For example, mirror therapy elevates platinum limb pain by using a mirror to create visual movements similar to normal limb movements. These visual G waves activate the corresponding Gs and generate G waves that interact with the simulated G waves of platinum limb pain, reducing their pain. This is similar to how our Dreams disappear when we wake up and open our eyes. As the visual input G waves activate the corresponding G and guide the content in the G wave display area. Oh, I was supposed to change the topic, but we ended up talking about platinum limb pain again. This unintentional return to the topic highlights an important point. Recently activated G in the brain are more likely to enter the G wave display area. In some magic tricks, the magician may use seemingly causal, causal movements to activate specific G's in the volunteer's brain. These activated G do not significantly enter the G wave display area, but when the magician asks a question, with a specific answer. And the volunteer's response is likely to be related to the already activated specific G waves. The principle behind this is that the magician's question guides the activation of the brain area where the already activated G is located. Within this area, the recently activated G is still in the activated state and has been recently strengthened, making its G waves more likely to dominate in the vector effect among similar G waves, thus appearing in consciousness. Let's get back on track and continue discussing the power of visual input, or more broadly, the impact of sensory input G waves. So that's all the content today. See you next time. Bye bye.